Welcome, everybody. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Patrick Slaughter, and I have the privilege of being the plant manager of our Southwire Carrollton Copper Rod Mill. Before we get started, I want to go cover a brief safety topic. So once we adjourn today, behind us we do have an active construction site. So we do ask that nobody venture onto the pad for the future site, that we stay over here to take pictures so nobody gets injured. And with that being said, I'd like to give a big welcome to everybody to the official groundbreaking of the new Carrollton Rod Mill. I'd like to give a special welcome to Lee and Laura Richards and their family, Rich Stinson and our executive leadership team, and everybody else that's here that's working on this project to make it a success. This truly is a historic day in Southwire's history as we break ground on a generational investment to make our rod mill team as well as the company successful for many years to come. As I look over at the existing facility, I see a facility that's been the backbone of this company for 40 years. It has produced over 25 billion pounds of copper rod, which is a number that's really too big to even wrap your head around. Now, when I look deeper into that facility, I see the home to the most dedicated and committed and hardworking workforces that Southwire has. This is a team that shows up This is a team that shows up 24/7, 365, rain or shine, and walks down that hill so we can produce rod safely, ship it to our wire and cable plants, so we as a company can continue to deliver power responsibly. This is a team that understands and takes great pride in the role that we play in this business. And that's the reason why when I look behind me, that I'm filled with excitement and see a world of opportunity. I cannot wait to let this team loose in a new facility with new assets, with new and modern technology, because I know that they will do great things. And at this time, I'm going to turn it over to our president and CEO, Rich Stinson, to talk more about what this facility is going to mean to our company as well as the community.
Well, you can't tell. Patrick's pretty excited. What a great leader, and we're just thrilled to have him to lead this project and continue to keep that copper rod going. I mean, we need the copper rod every day to keep the business running. So, Patrick, thank you, and everybody on Patrick's team, thank you. And I'm glad you're excited, man. So, it's great to be here, as Patrick said. All the great employees here, the Richards family being here, and then we have some really great partners that we're contracting with, H&M, the Project Service Group, Primary Metals, and we're really looking forward for them to do a great job. I mean, obviously, 17 months away. I mean, that's all it is, 17 months away, and we're going to be making new rod in the mill that's right over there. So we're looking for you as our partners, guys, to make sure you get it done, right? So, exciting future site for Southwire, and it will help us continue to grow. You know, we're a $7 billion corporation, and as I've been saying internally to the group, we've got to find our way to 10 billion. This is one great way for us to be able to do that, and this is part of our modernization program. I mean, the magnitude of the modernization program of $750 million, 220 projects, 22 major programs. This is the most important project. So, you know, again, it's thrilled to be here. We're the #1 player in North America, and this rod mill will help us continue to grow market share, best efficiency, best productivity, best quality, best cost. And yes, from an environmental standpoint, sustainability standpoint, the best mill in the world. Speaking of the best mill in the world, this is going to be the largest mill in the world from a productivity and output. It's going to make the most copper rod of any mill in the world. It's going to be a 100,000 square foot facility, but the output is going to be more by a lot than anybody else in the world. So, for us, this is part of our future. This is a part of Southwire, and it's important. It's important we get this project done very quickly, on time, and it will provide more jobs in Southwire, in Carrollton, and we're looking at this as one of our number one priorities. You know, as I've been saying internally, modernization right now internally is one of the most important things that we can do. And this rod mill is as important as anything else that we got going on. So we're having a fabulous year this year. We had a fabulous year last year. We had a great year in 2019. Things continue to go well. I'm looking at this in 2023 to be humming full speed, and we'll be even making more copper rod, making more wire and cable, and making more revenue than we ever had before. So really excited. And like I said, producing by the end of next year. So I want to share this great moment, and I want to ask Lee Richards, board member, son of the founder, Roy Richards Sr., actually an expert on this. He's been a great sounding board. Lee's really humble, but he knows this stuff as well as anybody. Maybe Charlie Murr can give you a battle on that once in a while, or Will Berry, but I'd like to invite Lee up here to talk a little bit and give us some words of wisdom. So Lee, all yours.
Well, it's nice to be here today. I am very excited about the project, very excited about modernization for Southwire, and I feel like modernization doesn't really end, that it should always be going on, that we should always be improving our processes, finding a way to do things better for the customer and to make more product and to make it more efficiently. So on December 9th, 40 years ago, my dad drove my brothers Roy, my brother Jim, and I over here on a dark night, and the rod mill down the hill was completed, and we hoped to see that evening the rod mill start up. It was a new design. It was considerably bigger than Rod Mill 1, which was over in the old facility in the utility plant. And so in 1981, we embarked on a project that was a big stretch for my dad, both financially and engineering here in Carrollton. It was 4 years before he passed away. That night, the Southwire team did manage to get the rod mill up and running for about 1 minute. And we watched and made the coil was about this tall. It didn't run very long. The engineers had really stretched, and when they designed, and all in an effort to make it big and to make it capable, but it needed a little bit more work. And in that issue, they couldn't push the rod down into the coiler. It needed one more pinch roll. It only had one, and it needed two. So the rod mill shut down after about a minute, and they figured out that, you know, more work is needed, and as y'all know, it's really hard to push rod at 60 miles an hour into a coiler. So on the ride home, he was thinking about the issue, and my dad, at the end of the day, he was an engineer. And yes, he managed a wire company, and yes, he knew financials, but he was an engineer. So he was thinking about it, and he was saying, you know, it's hard to push a string. It's hard to push that rod all the way to the coiler. But he was thinking about how they were going to solve it. And the team were on it. And they got the company Morgan at the time to help them resolve it. But the big, so my dad had a philosophy, and it was think big. And he had a sign on his desk in his office in Carrollton. He had his name tag here. It said Roy Richards, and he had another name tag over here that said think big. And if you walked in, you saw that. And he was serious about that. And when he wanted to build a machine or expand a plant, everyone knew that he was going to try to max out what we could do with the finances we had, which often meant we borrowed even more to buy a rod mill and build a rod mill like that. But he believed there was always a more efficient way to make copper and aluminum rod, wire, and cable, and that we better find that way, because our competitors are trying to find that as well. And we've got to outrun them. And we've got to make this more attractive as an investment, we have to make it more capable, because our competitors are also trying to find a way to get more efficient. So continuous improvement over the years of this rod mill have helped the mill, but it's now time to move on to a new one. Making copper rod is something we do really well. I believe this will be 130th rod mill, copper and aluminum. So 130 rod mills have been built around the world by Southwire, mostly copper, but 131 or 130, whichever one it's going to be, is going to be the best, and I'm confident it'll start up on time. So when the rod mills go down, as you know, a lot of things shut down at Southwire. We cannot service our plants that need all that copper rod, and we lose a lot of our production, and things start stopping. We stop shipping. We can't satisfy Home Depot and Lowe's. So it's critical that Southwire has a very large, reliable rod mill, and it's very important that we locate it here in Carrollton, because we have the best team of operators in the world on this rod mill. And I know that you're going to go right over here to this new location and be able to operate this one and make even more rod. So we have a team of about 130 people here, either making rod or in the SCR division selling rod systems. And that's a wonderful focus on making rod. Again, that's what we do well. So we have a rod mill that's run very well over 40 years. And I'm pretty amazed that the new one is going to make 12 or 14% more rod than the old one. That's pretty amazing. And we need to really think about what our customers are going to want from us. They're not going to want the same amount of rod or the same amount of wire. They're going to want more. And we need to build for the future. And as my dad said, we need to think big. And the engineers on this one, I think that's what we're doing. The most important thing about this rod mill, though, is it gives our team confidence that we're reinvesting in the company. And that's important, that we show them in a big way that we are reinvesting. And it's going to be state of the art. So when we have a potential customer come over here from Asia or from Russia or wherever, we can show them something that is state of the art, and it's a showpiece, and it'll be representative of what they'll be getting. So my dad used to say to us many times that the future belongs to the efficient. And you have to believe that to be successful in the wire business, because it's a low margin business. It's a tough business. And it's a key reason that Southwire is still in business today, making our products, and that the Richards family still owns the business. And we have folks who are very committed to being efficient with the operation and being smart with it. And it's stunning to think about this mill will start up on a Monday morning, and it will run all the way to Thursday or Friday. And that's amazing. That's a really finely tuned machine. And it's really a testament to the operators, and I'm so glad to see y'all today. I think it's terrific that y'all have a shutdowns going on this week, which allows the operators to come up from the rod mill. I think that's great that y'all are here. So I love the wire and cable business. I love the rod making business. I think about, and I've been asking a few questions about whether we could put a mid-size, brand new, state-of-the-art SCR mill in Denton, Texas. I think that would be something we need. It's something, though, I don't want to get too far down the path with some ideas that may not be ready, may not be prime time. So I look forward to coming back to the opening of the rod mill when it's here, when it's up and running. I look forward to coming up that day or that night. And I'm going to be back here in 40 years for the opening of the next rod mill, which will be somewhere down there somewhere. But I look forward to that. So my daughter Julia and my other daughter Natalie will be here, and because it'll be time. These machines don't last forever. 40 years from now, we're going to need another one This one will be shot. We'll build another one right down there. But thank you all for all you're doing for Southwire. Thank you for your dedication to the company, your dedication to the customers, and for us as shareholders and investors. We're very confident when we invest in a big project like this that the Southwire team is going to manage it properly and is going to take care of that asset and is going to take care of what we've given them. And you're really performing in a super way in the last few years. You've gone through COVID, and you're finding ways to make this company successful, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee. What a privilege to get to share that moment with your dad, and he's taking a big risk. What a privilege to get to be here for that. Also, I want everybody who works at the rod mill, I know you're going to hate it. Nobody wants to be recognized. You want to be down here. I would like for all of you to stand up, please, for a moment. Everybody who works at the rod mill. And the rest of us want to give you an applause because this is an investment in you. Thank you so much. If you're going to take your seats, because this is probably the most humble group I've ever seen at Southwire, and we have the best people at Southwire. And Becky and I had the privilege, and the operators weren't as happy, but Becky and I had the privilege to visit about a month ago, and they were trying, you guys all were trying to have the rod mill not go down. And someday I'll know I'm in the circle, because I know you have a name for her, because she's very temperamental. She doesn't listen to you, and you so wanted to call that name out when I was there, but you didn't. I said, but I'll know I'm in the in circle when I know, but now you got to create a new name. And maybe she'll be less temperamental, but she still will be feisty. And I want to thank you for your work, because when I watched, I'm a big sports fan, but I love NASCAR. And unlike a lot of our equipment at Southwire, it's usually run by one operator and sometimes two operators. When that rod mill went down, everybody knew where to go, what to do to ensure you're safe, to ensure that you took care of your fellow Southwire colleague. And it was a privilege and amazing for me to get to watch you do that. At the same time, and you say it's nice that everybody can be here, I got a call a couple weeks ago going, we need to move the shutdown up, but it's going to be when we're doing the groundbreaking. Is that going to send the wrong message? And to hear Lee say, what a privilege, because it makes all of us get to celebrate in this investment. I can't thank enough our SCR team. You guys have traveled the globe to install the Southwire systems, and now you get to do it again here at home. And it's my privilege for the SCR team. I can't wait to have you guys, we're all going to start it up together. And I think, Lee, we're going to probably try to want to build one in 35 years. Because you and I both agreed we probably should have started this 5 years ago. So we'll do 35 years so that we're ready. And also, I remember being at an event, and it was Nancy Freese Richards said that we want to leave this company for the next generation better than it is today. And Lee has shared with us many times that he feels like this is his duty, his responsibility for his children. I know Laura feels the same way, and Jim feels the same way, that this modernization that we're doing, it's nearly $700 million in modernization, and it's not going to stop. It wouldn't be right if we didn't also modernize the copper rod mill. So it's a privilege, and it's with gratitude that I get to be part of the Southwire team and work for shareholders that do right by all of us first. And many of us thought the cyber attack in December of 2019 was probably one of the most difficult things we'd gone through, and then we walked into a pandemic. And I remember the shareholders looked at all of us and said, be generous with the employees. So when I look at the new copper rod mill, I look at how much safer it's going to be, how much better it's for the environment. I'm a weirdo. I'm excited about the pedestrian bridge with the covered pedestrian bridge to make it easier to come to work. It's going to be a better place to be, and it's all the things that around do right by all of us. And the shareholders are doing that day in and day out and hold us accountable for that. So I want to thank everybody for sharing in this moment. I'm excited to see the startup with the SCR team, and hopefully we'll make more than a few minutes on the first coil. We're much more experts at it, but it is new technology. And I can't stress enough that this is a privilege, and it's with gratitude that we're here today. So I'm going to turn it back over to Patrick Slaughter so he can get us going.
All right, so at this time, we'll perform the ceremonial groundbreaking. So I'd like to ask to join me Lee and Laura and their families, Rich Stinson, President and CEO, Kathleen Edge, Executive Vice President of Operations, Charlie Murrah, Executive Vice President of Metals, Ron Sanders, H&M On-Site Manager, as well as Jerry Cook, who works here at the rod mill and is the third most tenured employee at Southwire. So we will step over here, put on our hard hats, grab a shovel, and we'll walk up the top of the ramp to put the shovels in dirt. That concludes our ceremony. We do appreciate everybody coming out and celebrating this historic day for us. The site will be available for pictures afterwards. Feel free to take a cookie and a water with you. Thank you.